The Door That Knocked Back. Part 2. Inspector Bram Hensley stood alone in the upstairs room of number 19, staring at the wallpaper where the impossible door had vanished only moments before. Mrs. Pike had fled downstairs in a panic, leaving him with the settling groans of the house and the faint smell of disturbed plaster. He touched the wall. It was warm. A tremor rippled through the timber, subtle but unmistakable. Something shifting deep inside the structure. Something searching. He stepped back, lantern trembling in his grip. Reeves' warning echoed sharply in his mind. "Don't answer when it knocks back." Hensley had answered, and whatever had been knocking now knew the way out. The floor beneath him creaked, once, twice. Soft tapping, almost experimental. Then a slow, deliberate knock sounded behind the wall. Not from a door, from the house itself. Hensley retreated toward the hall, forcing his breath steady. "You're a building," he muttered to the silent plaster. "Not a thing that breathes, not a thing that learns." But the house seemed to disagree. From the far end of the hall, another knock responded, exactly the same rhythm, as though passed from one beam to the next, travelling through the walls like a message. Knock, 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 knock. His pulse spiked. That was the same pattern he'd followed earlier, up the stairs, around corners, deeper into the house. A path, a lure. He turned to leave, but the staircase groaned, shifting slightly under its own weight. Dust drifted down in a lazy cloud, illuminated by his lantern. The house was settling, or moving. No, reacting. Something within the walls pressed outward, distorting the wallpaper for an instant before withdrawing again. A shape, a silhouette, but not quite human, too long in the limbs, too fluid in its posture, as though it were learning how to stand, how to walk, how to be. Hensley's breath hitched. Reeves had said the dark behind the door had kept him, but perhaps that darkness had taken more than his presence. Perhaps it had taken his outline, his movement, his possibility. And now the house was moulding it into something that could navigate the world outside the void. The silhouette returned, clearer this time. Hensley bolted. He reached the front door just as the knocking resumed upstairs, louder now, agitated. The lantern light flickered violently. Hensley yanked the door open and stumbled out into the cold evening fog, gasping for air like a man resurfacing from deep water. Behind him, number 19 went silent. Too silent. As if listening. Mrs. Pike rushed from next door, shawl clutched in her hands. "Inspector! What's happened? You look ghost-struck." He closed the front door firmly. "Mrs. Pike, you must not enter this house again." Her face drained of colour. "But the tenants? There will be no tenants. Not any more." She clung to the railing. "Sir, is it gone? Whatever Reeves brought out, did it return?" Hensley glanced back at the building. The windows reflected nothing. No flicker of lantern light, no movement, only darkness. Finally he said, "No, it didn't return." Mrs. Pike trembled. "Then where is it?" Hensley stepped down onto the street. "It doesn't need a door anymore, it has the walls. And walls stand everywhere." Before she could reply, a sound drifted down the stairwell inside number 19. A single, patient knock. Hensley stiffened. It sounded like it was coming from the wrong side of the front door. He backed away slowly. If it learned to knock, it may learn other things. "For your safety, Mrs. Pike, leave Rookery Lane tonight." "And you, Inspector," she whispered. Hensley looked into the fog, lantern dimming in the cold air. "I'll file the report. They'll laugh at me, but the house won't." He turned away. As he walked into the fog, the house behind him gave one final creak, soft, almost conversational, as if it had begun to understand the world enough to greet it. And then the street fell silent again.